much for choosing to watch this video. If you are not yet a subscriber, kindly hit the subscribe button. My name is Fisayo, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how to use workflows to streamline your online business. I'm going to take that again. How to use workflow to streamline your online business. These past few months I've been feeling as if 24 hours are no longer enough for me. Time just runs really fast. So I have so many things to do and so little time. And as I am speaking right now, I have a few pending projects. I have to edit 2 videos. I have to write 2 content plans for different clients, and it's a lot of work. Anyway, we move, right? So there are 2 main reasons why you've been feeling overwhelmed in your online business. Number 1, you're doing the work of about 27 people. And number 2, you are doing the work manually. When you use workflows to streamline your business, it helps you to increase your efficiency, it helps you to increase your productivity. What that means is that you will no longer be spending your time on the things that really do not matter in your business. And that way, you can actually increase your profits, all right? So let's talk about how to do those things, how to use workflow to streamline your business. Number 1, identify and map out your process. So you want to start by writing down all the key things that you do in your business. That is, the key processes, the major things that you do in your business. I'm talking about your sales methods, your marketing techniques, your production process, bookkeeping, customer support, and all those things. Write them down. So map out each of these processes step by step so that you understand how tasks are performed, and you understand which dependencies exist. So for me, I do a lot of content development for social media clients. So that includes content ideation, design, publishing, measuring, and so many things. I'm also a web developer, so I create websites and I write web copies. And to be able to do that effectively, I usually have to immerse myself in that client's business so that I can use the copies to really represent what they exist for, what they do online. So what I mean by writing out the dependencies that exist is to write out the relationship that exists between each of the activities that you are doing in that business and the particular order in which they need to be performed. Whatever it is that you do, you want to write those things down. You want to write what comes first, what comes next, what is dependent on the next thing, what needs to come up before this comes up. And so once you've done that, we go to the next step, which is to analyze and optimize. So the next step after you've written out all the things you do is to analyze them so that you can figure out any snag, any restrictions or bottlenecks that usually happen. So for me, sometimes it's coming up with copies, right? It's coming up with copies is, like I said, immersing myself in the business so that I know what to write. It is actually asking for a company profile or a bio document from a client so that I can write the copies well. The reason why you need to analyze that process is so that you can create room for improvements, because you cannot continue to encounter bottlenecks all the time. You get fed up, and like I always say, if it is taking too long for you to do, it is either you don't do it at all or you don't do it right. So that's why you need to analyze all the steps that you have written out. Currently, I'm creating a website for a client, and I've just received a brochure that would help me aid the copywriting processes really fast. So the brochure contains all the things that the company does, all their methods, their entire process. So when I'm coming up with copies, I have a guide. So I make sure that I have taken that restriction away from the process. So that's why you need to first write it down and then analyze so that you can take away that restriction. Look for tasks that are time consuming, that are error prone, or they have a significant impact on your bottom line. Number 3, automate repetitive tasks. So when it comes to some certain aspects of your business, some tasks can be repetitive. For instance, instead of preparing an invoice every single time, you can just use a customer management software to do that. Instead of responding to the same questions every time that customers ask, you can have an FAQ on your website. All you just have to do is get the link and share it to a prospective client. If your e-commerce marketing is taking too much time, you can use automated e-commerce personalization tools. The trick is to use technology to automate any repetitive task in that business so that you can free up time to do other things that really matter in the business. Number 4, implement SOPs. You want to implement SOPs. SOPs are standard operating procedures. So I used to work in a digital agency, and we had SOPs for everything. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel, you don't need to crack your head. Just go to the SOP document and use it as a guide to perform the next task. This point reminds me of a particular company that I buy domain names from, Google and any question you ask their customer care rep, they have a blog post on it. They just share the link to you, and you have to do everything by yourself. It is super easy, it is super cool. I don't know where they came up with that idea. So maybe you want to have that, and in your own case, there are going to be SOPs for you and for anyone that is coming on board as a teammate. Create clear and detailed SOPs for each task or each process. Trust me, they'll make your life easier. So I recently started creating SOPs for myself too. So I have SOPs for filming a YouTube video. I have SOPs for onboarding or offboarding a client. I have SOPs for ads. I have SOPs for social media content creation, and it's going to act as a guide to anyone that is coming on board as anyone that I'm hiring in the future. So SOPs basically they ensure consistency, and they reduce a lot of errors, they reduce a lot of back and forth, they reduce the number of the amount of time it takes you to complete a project, and they also act as a training guide for new hires. So you want to start creating SOPs now, whether you are the only one in the business or not, so that as new people start coming on board, it can be a training document for them. Number 5, monitor and measure. You can never know the extent to which your work performs if you do not set key performance indicators to track, to measure. So set KPIs that will help you measure the success of your workflow. In this video, I spoke about reviewing KPIs. I said to set KPIs for your social media content and review them regularly to know what is performing well, what is not performing well. In this case, you want to track the percentage of processes run to completion. You want to track error rates. You also want to track your own satisfaction on the success of each workflows that you have set. So regularly track and analyze these metrics to identify the areas where you need to further improve on. So as you do that, there's room for continuous improvement, because workflows should be dynamic and they should always be adaptable to any changes in your business, any changes in the environment, any changes in the economy. So what I'm saying in essence is that you want to track your workflow, you want to measure the success of your workflow. You can't use one workflow system for 10 years. You need to adjust appropriately. And that brings me to the last point, which is to scale strategically. As your workflows become more efficient and as your business grows, you need to begin to strategically scale every workflow system. So focus on delivering exceptional customer services by optimizing those workflows that directly impact on the customer experience. When your customers are happy, they are 10 times likely to refer you to other customers and to also become repeat customers. So you want to stay updated with new technology, you want to stay updated with new trends, you want to make sure that you are embracing new things. Don't always be so focused on one technology system or one workflow system. Ensure that you are following trends. Ensure that you are doing anything that you can to increase your efficiency, to increase your productivity, to make sure that you are expanding your bottom line. So keep your workflows up to date and use industry best practices to remain competitive in the environment. You do not want to fizzle out of your industry. So remember that the goal is not only to streamline your business, but also to deliver exceptional service, to maintain excellent quality, and to provide excellent service to your customers, to prospective customers, to the general public. That is all I have to say on this topic. If you've loved it, if it is helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you have any comments, any suggestions, any questions, always ask in the comment section. And also follow me on Instagram at Fisayo Patrick 1. I will see you in the next video.